Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the Nova tournament. We are back again for this evening for a very, very interesting game that's going to be going on. Panic versus Bandits. I'm joined here by, once again, the man, the myth, the legend, Elijah. How you doing, my man?
Man, I'm doing really well, and I'm excited to see Panic vs Bandits show up against each other. One of the two top teams in the tournament. Very well played teams. We've already seen one very good and very fast-paced game today. So I'm looking forward to carrying that on. Now, Panic... Oh, I gotta say... they're predictions, right? And we head to those predictions and have a look at exactly what those are looking like. Now, we've already had a look at them once, but just to get a little bit of a refresh in terms of what we picked, because I know what I picked. I don't really remember what you picked, and as you can see there, you've gone for Panic as well. I love to see it.
Make the suggestion you think that Bandits will win, but Panic is the train. Panic, everyone aboard. Let's get going. Panic's got this in the bag, in my opinion. They are just one of the best teams that we've seen in this comp so far. They've had a little bit of ups and downs in the most recent few weeks, a few losses that really don't mean too much for them, but as a general whole, it appears that they are doing really, really well. So we hope to see them come out on top today. In the last game, as you guys obviously do know, and as you cast Elijah, was Trident coming back and taking over control over NDE. So it was good to see that they were able to get that win, but obviously we're talking about two of the best teams in the comp, basically coming second and third at the moment, Panic and Bandits. Now, I don't know how this game's going to go for the beginning, but I feel like once Panic gets on that sort of movement, once they get that momentum on their back of just consistently getting at least a round or two, that's when we'll start to see the best coming out of them. What do you think, Elijah, is going to happen at the beginning for this game?
Now, it's all really dependent on exactly what map these guys decide to take us to, because we've seen that Panic are really good at Oregon rather than going there too many times, though it did bite them in the behind. But I think both of these teams, Bandits and Panic, they have an opposite side of a playstyle. Panic being really well at being more strategic and thought out, and Bandits just being those gunners, being able to get those entry frags, those refrags. You know, they're really good in terms of their mechanical skill. Not to take it away from Panic, they are just as good, but they use their methodical side of things a little bit more. So it really depends on sort of the map. If it's a more of a frag heavy map, you know, it definitely could swing in the way of Bandits. But if it's a map where you need to utilize strategic value more, I think Panic have the capability of taking it over. Now, that's exactly why I use my prediction up against Panic. But I mean, we'll have to see in exactly what map they decide to take us to in the end. So let's get those bands up and running, and it looks like it will be a skyscraper, which is Bandit's pick as well. So Panic choosing to ban that Oregon, which, I mean, is the smarter play for them. Yeah, they went to Oregon so many times that banning it, definitely the way to go. Bandits, they got that skyscraper. They're starting it on that defense. What a map to go to.
I mean, as you know, with Skyscraper, it is one of those defender-sided maps, especially with T and Geisha and Exhibition as well. Those sorts of sort of bunker-style sites. It is very hard to attack if you do not know the best playstyle. Most teams, they do prefer to go up against an extension sort of play, moving in from Karaoke and T over towards Exhibition, or Exhibition over towards Karaoke and T. So we'll expect a lot of those teams to essentially go through something like that, and obviously the final site that we normally see is that kitchen downstairs with an extension up into Geisha, Karaoke and T. So Skyscraper, it's a well-known map. We have been seeing a lot more play coming from it, more than Border, Bank and Cafe, actually, as a general whole. From a lot of these teams. A lot of them have decided that they have wanted to go to Skyscraper. I even casted a match recently for the Nova Showdown where it went to Skyscraper. So it is quite a common map in the competitive standings at this stage. So a lot of these teams will have prepared for it. A lot of these teams will be ready to start essentially a boxing match on this map. Now, as far as I know, I've not seen Bandits play on this map yet, but I have seen Panic play on it. So my backing right now continues as the way that it started. Panic just seem to know how to control the maps that they have been playing on so far. And as far as we've seen, Bandits, I haven't seen you on this map yet. Prove me wrong, dare so I say, or Panic will just absolutely steamroll you. My prediction for this map, Elijah, 7-3 to Panic. What do you think?
7-3. It's a bit rough. I feel like Skyscraper, while it has a lot of potential to be strategic, I think it's also a gunner's map as well. So Bandits, they definitely have a little bit of a platform to work off of as well. So I can see it being a little bit closer than a 7-3. I mean, it could very well be that. I mean, you could surprise us all. Your prediction could be correct. But I'm thinking it's going to take us to a... I'm going to go for like a 7-5, maybe like a 7-4. Maybe I feel closer for a 7-5, or maybe they'll surprise us all and they'll take us to that overtime and go that full distance, which, you know, I wouldn't mind at all. So Bandits, Panic, you know, if you're listening, you know, obviously you're not, but if you can hear me through your force, telekinesis, take us to that overtime.
Well, we'd love to see them obviously going into an overtime. Now, at this stage, we are waiting for both of the teams just to get in lobby, just to get all set up, get everything ready for them and set to go. But Skyscraper, I mean, this map, what do you expect in terms of bans for this map? I mean, it's quite common that we've got a basic set of bans. It's a Dokkaebi, it's a Knock. Those are your basic sort of starting bans. And then your secondary bans normally an Azami, or a Solus. Sorry, had a second trying to figure out exactly what operator that was. But those are your normal sorts of bans. What do you think it's going to be as a general whole for these bans coming through?
Now, for my attacker bans, at least, there are definitely a lot of things that you could potentially get rid of. It all depends on whether this, like, you know, if you've thought out a specific strat that you need to get rid of one very, very specific operator. I mean, you could get rid of that Thatcher. I mean, that's a very common one if you don't want to have to deal with any of those needing to worry about those impact nades definitely hitting. But in a level like this, in this sort of high-level skill play, I mean, you've normally got the info that you need to utilize those smaller EMPs. So you might want to leave that Thatcher up, trade it out for a Knock, because that's, like you said, a comfort ban for majority of the teams as well. Getting rid of that Solus, I got to agree with you then. With a map like this, where every single site, obviously, rather than you playing those tertiary sites downstairs, there's soft destruction all along these floors. Now, utilizing that Solus for a potential plant denial, that could definitely come into play. So getting rid of that, maybe even a Pulse if you're feeling that uncomfortable. Getting rid of a Cade, maybe to help the attackers just run through those walls without needing to, you know, slow down. There are just so many things that you could get rid of. You could even get rid of that mirror, which is used a lot, especially on that exhibition site.
Well, as you said, so many different factors to worry about when it comes to a lot of these operators that will possibly be banned. I don't expect to see a mirror ban. That is definitely not one ban that I expect to be seeing here. As we know, mirror is quite a useless operator as a general whole on this map. There's not a lot of like those long sites and those areas that you can really control with ease to shut down any sort of push, any sort of play in those sorts of areas, and especially in these sorts of sites. So we don't expect to see her being brought in too much, but as a general whole, and as you said, we expect to see the Knock. Such an annoying character. Dokkaebi, also very annoying. The Solus and the Azami being brought in, especially as this is one of the toughest maps to just completely lock down. Well, regardless on that situation, we are just waiting, as we did say, for a few more members to come through. I believe we're just waiting on one more before we do move in to the lobby. It's been a little bit of a slow time for that person, but we don't expect the same sort of attitude when he jumps into the map. Mental fortitude is the name of the game here for Bandits, especially they're up against one of the best teams that has been leading this competition for such a long period of time. Isn't currently, but has been for a long, long time. And obviously, this is where it starts to get a bit back and forth with those sorts of team structures. Now, we know Bandits. As you said, they're more of the gunners. They're more of your fraggers. They like to play a bit more aggressive. They like to attack a bit harder. On the defensive side, it works. On the attacking side, I'm not exactly sure if it would work on this map, especially considering the size and like the attacking points that there is, sorry. And then we have Panic, those guys that like to just go slow, take their time, get through it all. But we have just been called. It's time to start moving towards the map. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Let me welcome you to the beautiful map of Skyscraper, high above the Japanese city skyline.
What a position, what a beautiful view to verse off against two beautiful teams as we get our very first Bandits now. Beautiful cams being set up as well. Just a few little ones just missing, but we've got majority of them on today, so we can put a face to the name of these very hard-working players. Now, Nook, like I said, comfort band for both of these teams. Getting rid of her, it's definitely going to deny that lurk potential. Don't have to worry about that any longer.
Yeah, the immediate removal of Knock, as we said, and the Ying is actually an interesting ban coming through. So it looks like that Dokkaebi will be allowed into play, and especially with that DMR, she is such a threat. Plus the utility, just giving away the position of the enemies as they are set up. Well, regardless, doesn't really matter. Solus is coming in as the final defensive, sorry, the first defensive ban, I should say, as the final defensive ban gets ticking down. But yeah, I mean, Ying being removed off the board, that is quite a punch. A lot of teams have been using her to get quick plants in, and I can see how that could be used, especially up in the exhibition site, trying to get a lot of things flashed off the board. But a mirror ban.
Well, what was that? Oh, we're not going to see a mirror ban coming out, Elijah. We're not going to see it. Well, behold, there it is. The mirror ban right in front of you. Eat it. I was right about it. I knew that they had to get rid of that because it can become a problem. And it looks like to that team specifically, it is for them. So, I mean, you were right about some of the bans. You know, you got that Nook. You got that Solus. But you were wrong about the mirror. And I'm going to take that at face value. And that'll start off the game. I mean...
Alright, maybe everything that I have said tonight is wrong, and maybe, just maybe, Bandits will end up taking this. But as we move in to the first round, get it ready, get it steady, as it looks like we will immediately be going into tea and karaoke once again. So, as I said, you're going to see this extension set up in towards Exhibition and VIP, and they will be looking to kind of just slow down any sort of push coming in from the side of Panic. But there we get to see the beautiful face cams, all the players concentrating hard, all of the players ready to and revving to start this match. And I mean, I'm not sure exactly what the setup is here, but as I said about the band slipping through, there you can see it straight away. Universe will be the first person to pick it up. It will be the Dokkaebi being brought into play. And straight off the bat, we'll start to see the enemies making their push up towards the site.
Well, it's always good to have that global utility available to you. Now, like I said, it looks like they're going for a little bit of a sweep from that east side upwards. Already making work onto the balcony, maybe even to do a direct one. Now, it looks like their main focus here for their push is taking out that dragon, that throne first. Try to get that position before trying to run into that exhibition. They might be trying to avoid that exhibition, but you need to be a little bit careful of the potential lurk that they have. JPK had positioned himself there earlier. You see Snow setting up the OCE shield to try to get himself an angle into these black stairs. Now, I don't know if they're aware, but they have a crossfire. Not only from that T-Sing, they have it right onto that black stairs as well. Now, he's able to get away unpunished just yet, but he will take a huge amount of HP off him in the process.
Well, the interesting thing is ACOG is all the way downstairs. Nitro will go out. It will find the OCE shield, but not enough to confirm a kill just yet. Now that's going to be ACOG being able to make his move out. He'll spot out the player. That will be Drift taken down. Daddy's going to be taken down on the opposite side of the map as Nuki. He's able to pick it up, or do I just say directly above? And they should be realizing by now, Bandits that is, should be realizing that this is a direct take going straight into the second floor. And it looks like they will, as they'll start to move a few players back. JPK is going to come and join in as they'll spot one player all the way down the hallway. They now know that he is set up inside of Geisha. as they'll start to open up the wall directly in towards the site. Organiser is going to start making his way up just a little bit. MML also looking to try and see if he can find anything, but right now, not a lot of movement. Nades coming from below from ACOG, but it's not really too much movement just yet.
First pick, JPK being able to find the pick onto Universe though, and you can see the positioning from Panic just folding in a really good manner. Now they've got that control over those black stairs as well. They've also got a rappel set up with ACOG, getting a nice kill onto Organiser on that lurk below. Now it's just making it down to a 2v4 now for Bandits. They've got a lot of work left to do. JPK is going to do all he can. He will clean up with a nice shot onto ACOG and remove that black stairs player. Now there's still one on the single doors and two on the rappels as the smoke get distributed into the side as well. Going to try to go for a little bit of a sneaky play. MML, he's funneled his way in and he's unaware. Wizard being completely shut down thanks to walking through those smokes, unable to see the cross from the window. We'll leave it down to a 2v2. Now Snow's going to funnel his way back across to the black stairs, unaware of the positions. He does manage to down one, and Snow will find one for himself.
But Nuki, whether you saw it off screen or not, he jumped in with the shotgun for Gridlock. The secondary shotgun, and pummeled it into MML's face. Wow, what a play coming in there from Panic. And this is what I'm saying. The first round is taken over. This is where it starts to get a little bit scary between these two teams. Full control, full play style coming in from them just allows Panic to really expand, allows Panic to start getting some movement into their plays. Their momentum is going to start stacking. However, Bandits really showing up there, even with being on the back foot for the majority of that round. They still had a lot of control. JPK definitely being the man to watch during that side of the match, as he was able to find two very good kills in MML. Smart thinking by him, as he was able to get in towards Karaoke as the smokes were actually going down, avoid Nuki and find the diffuser being put down. But as we always say, where there's a good one, there is also a very good secondary, and that was Snow for the side of Panic, as he was able to find the kill that he was looking for, really. If he could not find that player inside of the site, he was in a really bad situation. But once again, Panic, they're going to go for a direct push, and this is where it starts to get interesting.
Looks like they're going for the exact same sort of take again, which you're hoping that Bandits, they're able to work out the mistakes that they made last time. And you can already see that it is coming into play. They've rotated and designated more players to the site rather than trying to play just that specific extension over in our exhibition. Look, they've got the exact same sort of setup. So, is it the smart play? I mean, it's begged to differ, right? You can toss it left and right. Bandits, they have all of the info to work into. They know exactly what you did last round, and they get to sort of work off that. But first blood to go out by Panic already will remove Drift from play, and that's your Valkyrie removed. So, if you had a C4 to use, you're not going to be able to use it anymore.
And that's Drift once again being removed off the board. It's such a consequential pick every single time that he is removed. He is their roamer. He's the player downstairs that stops any sort of movement, any sort of play styles being made. But unfortunately, it's just immediately cut off once again. And it looks like this time, however, well, no, I take it back. The ace will be available and be in play as Universe. He'll be able to find an easy kill. That's Daddy taken off the board. Player inside of Karaoke will be spotted out. As now Universe, he's going to go back and forth. Does need to be careful about this player playing in towards Geisha. As MML, he'll take a little bit of damage. So they now know his position exactly. Universe, it may be taking a little bit damage as well, as the peaks will come in, trying to look for the feet, but the OSA is just in such a good position at this stage that it's such a problem for the side of Bandits, and they need to be careful as Wizard will look to start opening up this wall.
Well, he is catered off. I don't know what his plan was there, but He'll decide to use the last one in the end, and the OCE shield just adding so much phantom pressure for Bandits to deal with. They haven't been able to make a pick off it just of yet, but they are peppering a little bit of damage, and they are also being a little bit wary of their potential lurk. Now Organiser's going to play off that barbed wire being removed from the main stairs. Hopefully he can win out the engagement, and he will do so successfully, removing Universe from play to even those even scoreboards just up as they are 1 man advantage down. Now they are in a little bit of a hard stock position. 2 on the rappel, 2 on the black stairs. The smokes are going to be distributed, but you need to be careful of MML doing the same sort of play. He will be forwarded out though. MML be able to find that very first pick and take it down to a 3v3 with only 11 seconds left for them to get that diffuser down. You will be able to do it successfully though, as Snow and ACOG with the cover, able to take out Organiser and JPK, and MML to fall last as Snow has the positions.
And what a round that was from Panic. The last 10 seconds just being able to get so much control, so much, well, so many different kills in so many different areas, so many angles being covered and watched. They knew MML's position inside of Geisha, they knew what was going on, and they knew exactly what they needed to do to completely cut it all off. And you can see it in the side of Panic. They are still cautious. They're not happy, they're not cheerful, they're not loving it, they're not jumping around as we've seen them in the previous games. It looks like they are just focused. They're ready for this match. And it's really being shown in the way that they're playing up against Bandits right now. They have the control that they need to start pushing, just pushing up as a general whole, up against these top level teams. And Bandits just seem to be falling slightly short. But once again, as I said, we are going to see this extension being brought into play. So we'll see it over on the opposite side now. Whereas it was an exhibition last time, it is now going to be over in towards Geisha and Karaoke. So 2 players will be set up over there, or at least 1. And it doesn't look like we're going to be seeing too much of a switch up coming in from Panic. Just Wizard and Nuki making their switches. No OCE is going to be brought on the board, but the Flores and the Thermite will.
They are looking like they are very... They like this west across push, you know, they like taking these black stairs push and doing a horizontal, and I like the difference. You know, usually you would see teams try to do a direct on this site specifically. You know, they need to try to clear out all of those arcades, you know, Bandits, potentially mutes as well. They're not bringing any of those, but that is usually what you would see from teams who try to push this sort of default site, but not Panic. They've decided to take this black stairs first, work their way from Geisha across to take control of that drum. Now you can tell that Bandits, they aren't really ready for this push just yet. But they're able to read into it thanks to the sound cues, the default cams being tossed up, noticing that they are trying to pre-place these drones. They're going to try to contest it backwards.
It also looks like Organiser's position is trying... His position is trying to be covered by JPK to make it a little bit sneaky so that they don't really understand exactly where he is going to be playing. However, no movement is going to be coming through just yet, as the drones will once again be identified by JPK. They need to remove him from this position. You can already see it. Wizard, he's making his push all the way around. We'll look to not actually open it up. It looks like he's going to be going for a different position. Universe needs to be a little bit careful. The ring will come through, and Organiser needs to be so very careful. They'll figure out his position, so they now know that he is in a problem position. Yuki will be dropped down, however, and that will be provided back in from the side. MML able to confirm a kill onto Snow, as now there is a 5v4 situation, and this is the first round where Bandits have significantly been up on their opponents. Drift is going to take a little bit of damage. That's going to come in from the Dokkaebi, as no more movement is going to be put into play just yet.
Still got a little bit of util left to burn. You can tell they're just burning out these ADSs and get ready to that shield and ACOG to find a pick off of that. APK is going to trade back and remove the Flores from play. They get down to a 3v4 for both of these teams now, and you've got JPK. He's rotated back to these house stairs. It looks like he's unaware of his position, just doing some pre-fires into the top of Exhibition, but nothing to connect just yet. 30 seconds left, and Drift's going to find a kick of his own Universe in the process, so leaves it all up for ACOG left to clutch out the rest of the round. And he is aware of that house position, but no intel left on exactly where he's playing. But MML, he's got the shot.
And what a shot that is. Look at it. Look how beautiful and easy it felt for MML. If you can just run it like that, it is nice and easy to control this match as much as you need to. But we're starting to see how the wear and tear is actually going. Bandits will no longer have access to that site. So this is where it gets interesting. Will they choose to go back to Karaoke, the site that they have lost twice in a row? Or will they choose to go into Kitchen and set an extension up for Geisha? It's going to be the most important decision of this match so far, as we will switch it up here, and it looks like they're going to be going once again into this Karaoke. I am not sure that this is the best idea, but you do have to try it at least 3 times to make sure. It is completely up to the team's preference, and it seems that they feel a little bit more confident. However, it is what it is, as they will finish up the last of the preparation phase, be set up and ready to go up against Panic. And again, this is something that they've already versed this team twice on. Drift needs to play in a different position, find the kill nice and easily. They're bringing a Maestro to kind of round it all out, make sure that they don't get access to the sites, and be able to spot them planting. And this is where it all comes down to. Panic once again looking like they're going to go for the same sort of playstyle. I'd be ready if I was Bandits, because Panic are going to come pretty quickly.
I mean, if it's not broken, like, don't fix it, right? It worked so well against them. They gave them the opportunity to eventually adapt to what their first initial push was. They didn't do it. They were able to find themselves there another round, and this time they're bringing even more util to try to deal with this cape. I don't know if that is able to hit it. I'm going to guess, if off the top of my head, there's no way that that should get rid of it. Yep, absolutely, it will remain electrified. But what you've done essentially is open up the floorboards for your potential lurker downstairs to go below and shoot from upwards. And you can tell that's exactly what ACOG's got in mind, and he'll be able to do that successfully with no issues if he can just manage to just hit that. Just, yep, you're right there. There you go. He gets it in the end. They'll be able to open up that wall successfully. This time, they haven't got a K there to trick, but Drift, he is playing in a different position himself. He is in that barbecue, looking to get a pick for his own, making sure that there aren't any drones potentially revealing his position, but no kills to go out. Both the teams just playing passive and working through their checklist for their initial execute.
Well, right now we're starting to see a bit of movement coming in from Panic. Not too much just yet. They're going to take their time opening up a lot of this downstairs sort of area and these sort of angles, so they can try and see if they can spot a lot of the positions of the enemies. If they can find all the positions that they need to find, it becomes a lot easier. And you can see already how much utility usage has been removed from the side of Panic. I mean, 3 Flores drones, 2 OCE shields, 2 Ash charges as well. With Universe still sitting on this rappel, hasn't been able to spot anyone just yet. We'll be able to see one now, as the position is going to be made to make a move, change themselves around, and the Flores drone is going to do brilliantly there as it's able to take down that shield. They can start making their way through. ACOG's able to find one onto Daddy, but Drift finally is able to take down the player downstairs, so his position on the roam is going to be quite a threat. But he's going to fall immediately back towards the site. Nuki's going to be dropped down, as Drift will be the one to confirm the kill. Diffuser is in the hand of Wizard. Snow will spot out one, but not able to find the head. They need to be able to get the clearance for Wizard to make the rush directly over and look to move in towards the site. The peek is going to be made, and he will be able to successfully make the cross. JPK is watching so closely for this movement through. Jump in's going to be made. Wizard's going to be taken out. 8 seconds on the clock. It's going down. Eraser's able to find Universe. It's all down to Snow. He's got 2 HP. This round is over to Bandits, and we tie up the series.
Wow, they did well. You know, I did say if it wasn't broken, man, don't fix it. But Bandits, they are going to break that. So if you're going to go there again, You know, if you're going to try to attack that, you need to find a different sort of take to do, because they're just reading into, you're giving them so much information for them to adapt and overcome what your execute is, and all that information isn't going to work out well. We've seen it happen before to Panic with them going to Oregon over and over and over again. It gave their opposition time to read into exactly how they executed, and the information was just overwhelming. So again, and they lost it just by doing the same repetition, sort of execute over and over again. But this time, force them to go to barbecue. Turch a lot harder to defend. So if there's any round that Panic can successfully get themselves up again, back into the lead, it is this one specifically. But, you know, Bandits could bring out something. You know, they could show us a very new defense against Panic that'll have them stunned.
I mean, a 3-3 split is what you'd prefer to see for both of these teams, and I guarantee both of these teams would like to see it as well. Right now, the best that they could probably get is a 4-2 or a 4-2 for either team. It all depends on how they start playing up against these two sides. Obviously, Exhibition will be reopened for the next round, so we expect to see that site as the last site for Bandits, regardless of what happens here. But at the moment, Panic once again, they are expecting for this upstairs hold, and it looks like they're going to be playing the exact same, but no, OSA is going to be brought straight in. So two members will be going upstairs. It will be Universe and Wizard, and they'll try and see if they can get some intel. I take it back. Universe is actually going to be downstairs trying to see if he can spot anyone making any sort of rotation. That's an 8.5. As ACOG is able to find the kill onto MML. One player is going to be spotted in sight. JPK is seen to be playing upstairs. So they know that there is at least one player set up for this upstairs hold, as the nade will actually provide a little bit of intel for JPK to make a little bit of movement. But for now, no pushes to be made just yet, but a kill still on the side of Panic.
They're slowly making their way, just itching themselves inside of the building, but no kills to go out just yet. The intel from the Dokkaebi will be provided to give away the sound cues that there are some players up here who are playing into this main stairs hallway, but they're just playing passive. They don't want to throw away any picks who could potentially help them lose that mid, but yeah, they are just trying to find the picks. The other pings going out as well. The repels all just providing even more comfortability for them. But the engagements are going to come out, and Nuki he manages to win his, and that'll be onto a 3v5. But immediate trade back as Rift is trying to clean up that man advantage and take it to the even scoreboard. But a 3v4 it still remains.
Well, no movement to be made just yet. And for the rest of the teams now, it looks like they've slowed down their playstyles just a little bit. Panic maybe getting a little bit scared of the exact position of this player that is still sitting upstairs. It is going to be a Razor up against the World. Two players sitting downstairs as well. Drift and Daddy waiting for some sort of push to come through, but it looks like there's only going to be one play for the upstairs. Daddy's going to get such a huge kill there onto Nuki, as ACOG will find the counter pick. Now, there is one player sitting downstairs. It is going to be Drift, and he's hurt real bad. The drop's going to come through as Eraser's going to take a little bit of damage. Plant will be attempted. Nitro will go out, and successful onto Wizard. So two players still remaining. ACOG will find his third for the round, as Eraser will be able to find the kill into ACOG. 15 seconds remain on the clock. Eraser's going to start to make his move back in towards bar. He needs to identify the exact position of this bomb. The plant is going to be attempted. Eraser waiting for the timer to go down. 2 seconds remaining. 1 second. He's going to rush it. The peak goes through. It goes back and forth. But Eraser will find the kill. And Panic will no longer be the ones running the series. It will be Bandits.
It looks like Bandits, they've woken up in their defensive half and they're able to secure themselves some rounds. They're making work of the tertiary side as well of all sites. Panic just falling short there, unable to pick themselves up a round, and that'll put Bandits in a very position of being one above Panic. Now, that's really good, especially on your defensive half as well. So, Panic, you gotta wake up. Like you said, a 3-3 split is the best thing you can ask for, and now it's all you can hope for.
Well, at this stage, There's not much else to hope and live for, my friend. We hope for a 3-3 split from Panic, but especially on this site. This site is the first site where they've had major issues, and it is what it is. So there's nothing else that can really be done about that. Bandits now in a good position to really control this map, really control the way that Panic are coming up against them. If they can get a 4-2 on the split, they will be in a very good position going into the next half. But then again, Panic, if they get a 3-3, it's scary to think what they could be like on the defense. But we'll never know until the first round is played. Final round on of this half to complete its last setup. And I mean, look at the MVP so far for Panic. It is Mr. ACOG. 10-4. I don't think I've seen that in a long time up against Bandits. A 10-4 scoreline. Absolutely incredible.
Against Bandits, who are some straight gunners, you know, the mechanical skill, the refrag potential that they bring to the map. You don't usually see someone playing this well against them. You know, they're really good at getting those refrags out, but for some reason, ACOG is just able to have the momentum built up, and double digits already in round 6. He is the pinnacle of his team current. You got to be happy with ACOG at the moment. He's got to be happy with himself. But we move back to the exhibition. They are doing the same sort of take as last time, going from that west across, taking that T first. Now, they've got all the utility that they need. Hopefully they can funnel it out just a little bit better than they did last time. Maybe work it together a little bit more, because I did see some rotates where you could have potentially got a pinch, maybe from house when you opened that up, the thermite last time. But they ended up just being a little bit out of time, and it didn't work the way that they wanted it to. Now the Dokubi, that is still in position. The Intero drones creating some of those safer pathways to take control, instead of needing to swing out into that dragon.
Yeah, well, Universe trying to open up a bit of a wall gap here so he can make his way through. Needs to clear all of these angles that as he starts to make his way up. Nuki going to be providing a little bit of support with those Roteo drones, trying to see if they can move any sort of utility that is on those walls, like a Razor, and his fabulous position that he loves to play in. But that's a shot from your main man when you need it. JPK able to take down Universe in a swift wide swing, as a Razor will take a little bit of damage, but that is already Panic being on the back foot. Bandits in a really good position, but it looks like the saying is no longer death from above. It is now death from below when you've got a man like ACOG with the most beautiful nades that we have seen in a long time. Needing to clear all of these angles perfectly. Will not spot out the player that is actually downstairs with him, but Snow will be able to take down JPK. He needs to clear that player underneath. That he's going to take a little bit of damage, but Drift will be able to find the kill. And now Drift, his position being such a threat in the roams. 15 seconds remain onto the board as Nuki will start to make his push in. They need to clear up this player who is sitting behind the desk. ACOG Snow's going to get a little bit aggressive. My apologies, confused the two. Nuki's going to be dropped down. It's all down to 1, but that's it. Wizards going to be taken down. Bandits will be up 4-2. Well, 4-2 at the halfway point between these two teams. Definitely a tough point of call in their preparation and in their setup. And so far, it looks like this is Bandits' day for today. They are playing so exceptionally well up against Panic. But now we start to see a bit of a switch up. Now we start to see the defense go to attack, attack go to defense. So moving into T karaoke is where it will start to get interesting. Immediately, we'll start to see Panic setting up these two sites. It looks like they're going to go for your normal sort of head hole setup and maybe even a rotation on towards that stairwell. No shields being available besides the one for Snow, so that may be actually set up inside of Geisha. It all just depends on the way that they decide to set this up as a general. Whole Universe is going to be the player sitting on the extension all the way in towards Exhibition. So it will be a very interesting sort of push, and we can already see with the operators being brought by Bandits. Doesn't look like Organiser is going to be brought in, so it looks like this will be a full extension push. And hopefully they will be able to find another round, or Panic, they will edge ever closer to tying this series up.
I mean, we did hope for a 3-3, but Bandits, I mean, they're playing so well after they've woken up just a little bit later, and they'll take it to a 4-2, which I like to see. Now, they're going to do a different push than what we see Panic did. They tried to go for the black stairs first, but this time you want to try to take out those exhibitions and go from acrosswards. So a little bit more of a traditional default sort of take, but it's like that way for a reason. You know, majority of the teams are comfortable pushing here. Don't fix it when it's broken. They're going to make it through that way. They're going to do their drones first, try to spot out any of these potential roamers, but none to be given up yet. It looks like they've forfeited that side of the map and chose to just hold these drums and that dragon as well. And that'll be an easier thing to do now that you're accompanied by these keeper barriers that Universe provides.
Well, the keeper barriers are one of the greatest things that this game has ever offered up, and one of the most annoying, if I do say so myself. Nuki, my man, tracking a player almost through the walls with precision pre-fire and precision aiming, as we will not see anything being opened up. The drone looking to see if it can spot out the position of Nuki, but the back and forths aren't going to go through just yet. Flashbangs will come in. Organiser's going to be using all three of them, as the nade will be cooked and sent straight out. So the shield's going to be dropped down. Now they can start making a push straight through. But where has that damage come from? Organiser's taken a little bit. I believe that actually might have come from his own teammate, but then again, a little bit too trigger happy with the way that these games have recently gone, as two players will be sitting in towards drum. MML will be spotted out, so now he knows he can't really make that push up until that drum player is removed. Keeper barriers will be in action, and now they'll start to make their way back. ACOG, he'll just look to play back as well. Already 2 minutes have been taken off the board, and there's only 45 seconds remaining.
Well, still a 5v5 as well, so it's really good game sense coming out from Panic at the moment. We're just delaying time, taking a little bit of pepper sprays of damage just all across the board for Bandits, peeling off and getting ourselves back to side for that initial crossfire take. With only 30 seconds left, it leaves Bandits needing to clear all of these angles when they go for their execute, and with 5 people left, all the crossfires are just going to be so much for them, so it's just a really good way to play this out specifically. Lonely's looking to get those walls open. ACOG's going to find the very first pick, but Lonely's going to trade it back, leave it to a 4v4. Snow's going to find a pick of his own, though. There's just a flurry of kills all across the board. Double for Snow to leave it to a 4v1 now. Yet again, Panic just crossfiring them, not letting them have any breathe. No intel, no time. One round won by Panic.
Yeah, well, you can see the excitement on the faces of Panic as immediately all of Panic started absolutely going off. They were having a wonderful time in that situation, and you could see that from Nuki's face, just saying, let's go, let's get it, we're running it well, keep it running, keep it operating really, really well. Obviously now, as we move into round number 8, Panic still down a round, so they'll need to try and see if they can find this section. If they cannot find any more than this, well, they might be in a little bit of trouble. But in saying that, that was their first site. It is not the tertiary site yet. We've still got a secondary site that they are well known on. They've been able to play quite a few games on, especially during their ranked games. So they will understand exactly how to approach this section. Now, Bandits, looking at the way that went, it wasn't all bad. It was really well by Bandits to get the control that they did. They found the counter pick that they were looking for on Nuki upstairs, which was really good. The problem was that hard breach on the wall was just a little bit too high. High enough that when they vaulted through, Snowy could actually see them inside of Karaoke in a protected position. Small mistakes like that are going to cost you the round. And that's just unfortunate that that happened to Bandits. But look at this, they're going for more aggression.
Well, they've already got stairs, which is going to be crucial for this side specifically. Not only that, but you do have the frag grenades in your pockets. You've got two sets actually, on the side of Organiser and on the side of MML. Now, he's already looking to try to clear off the util, but thankfully you've got those EMPs that are left up for you. You will have no problem opening that wall, but you need to be a little bit careful for this extension. And that's exactly why they've set it up, for these impact nades that Nuki provides while holding out this sushi bar. There's nothing to come out of it yet. They're just trying to funnel out his position. They're unable to clear him. His grenades, he's on the concrete floor. They're not going to be able to get this wall open. Now they have to sort of funnel in for a plan B or clear him out. Now, it looks like they are stuck at the moment. They're hard stuck. They've got no room to go off.
Well, there we go. The first thermite charge is going to be removed off the board as the plan goes perfectly for Nuki and exactly what he was trying to do. No nades will be able to hit him, as they will be able to spot out a second player, but they need to remove this player sitting inside of lounge. If they cannot remove this player sitting inside of lounge, he can just put it straight in. It's not going to be done just yet. He's waiting for the actual tick to see the wall being opened, and it will be counted, so they will not be able to get that wall open. Now that's 2 minutes of time that has already been wasted. But the backup is there. MML is able to find the first kill onto Universe, but as quickly as it was, the time is running out. So this is where it starts to get a bit hairy. They need to be following these positions. ACOG is going to be taken off the board by Drift. And this, what was looking like a perfect round for Panic, is slowly starting to falter. They need to find a counter pick here. Snow will be the first. He needs to find another one. The second pick's going to come through as Nuki will find two. Snow finds one. It's down to a 2-on-2 in a matter of seconds. Eraser will pick up the kill, but now Daddy, he's able to pick up the one on the Snow. Wizard will make the peak. He's able to find one. Needs to find one more. Does! And Panic will tie it up 4-4. And look at their faces. They're enjoying it.
I'm loving the confidence coming out and finding their footing on their defensive half, and what a clutch by them. And we've seen that happen again for these teams. You know, you might be on that 3v5 deficit, but it really doesn't matter at the end of the day, because when you've got those potential crossfires, those refrag abilities, the teamwork, the util to use, so you can genuinely bring that back with ease. And that's exactly what Panic did up against Bandits. So Bandits falling short there on their initial execute, and will allow Panic to win themselves yet another round and take it to an even 4-4 as they move back to this barbecue site, which we had seen that Panic had lost last time on their attack. Now they get to defend it and see how they can work up against Bandits. Now see what kind of util they can bring to it, as they are running that castle. You know, they are running the Rooney as well. There's potential denials. They're going to need to hold this top floor as well. So let's see how well they can pull it up against Bandits.
Yeah, and so far they've been doing extremely well, even in that situation, which came down to a 1v1 at the very end. That was it. It was all over nice and easily against Bandits. And I mean, you got to show it to Snow there. 9 kills for him. He's become a beacon of light and a beacon of hope for Panic this evening. Has just been playing exceptionally well so far. However, the movement will start to come through from Bandits as we'll look to push this exhibition, and immediately no one is actually going to be in a position of threat for Panic. So it looks like we're seeing even more aggression coming from Bandits. It seems that the aggression that they got last round somewhat worked out to a degree, but it's not going to work out right here. as it looks like Wizard will be the one trying to slow them all down. He's looking for this drone, will not be able to find it, and will immediately fall back off. They still know the position of one. It's going to be Wizard down the hallway. He needs to actually fall off this angle ASAP, because they've got people starting to make their push up. He will be spotted out and is actually in a position where he can just immediately be fragged. Needs to move now. The peek's going to come in. He spots him out. The peek will go through, but Wizard's just able to get away. And what a mishap from Bandits. They needed that kill and they couldn't find it.
That slip, and they have to be a little bit careful of the vert. ACOG is there ready to up and punish, but nothing to go out. A little bit of pepper of damage. Snow, though, will find the very first blood of this match and remove JP from the plays, as they are back foot now as they push to the black stairs. Now Organiser, he is in position on the shrine, looking to get these 2 picks here, but he needs a little bit of support from the rest of his team, as I'm pretty sure Geisha is about to be forfeited thanks to the util. Lonely rotating himself up, but there is still a player in Geisha. 2 players if that as well, one to drop the hatch and one to remain to try to pick for himself to sort of even things up before they head back.
Well, Daddy, he's going to be beginning to put the drone through, as ACOG will find an immediate kill on the Drift. Organiser is able to find one onto Stone. Yuki's going to be dropped down. I feel like I'm casting the horses. Not really. But Organiser is able to find the kill onto Nuki, as now the drones will start to come through. 3-on-3, 45 seconds, or 40 seconds I should say, remaining, as this soft breach will start to be opened up. So now the players on site need to be a little bit cautious. A lot of soft breach is going to be removed as they try and search for these players' positions. But with this site, you can actually put your players so far off. They can sit so far back and not have to worry about any pushes coming through and or down. 15 seconds remaining on the board as the players start to make their move. Now 10 seconds. The plant is going to be attempted. Daddy's going to be able to put the plant down. MML's able to find one. Immediately will get picked up, as ACOG is the last member against 3 Saiyans. So ACOG, you need to find them all. He'll find the first. That's MML taken off the board. If you ever needed a round for ACOG to start popping off, this is the round. He will start to make the move in. Not able to spot the barrel, and he will actually go for the player upstairs, but he hasn't spotted the player below. ACOG makes it away just in time, but now he needs to convince Organiser to remove off his screen, and that's going to be Organiser to find the kill. ACOG will be removed, and Bandits edge ever closer to finding the map point.
A little bit of a closer Matt than what you expected, I gotta say, Tiaki. You were thinking, what, 7-3? Look at the scoreboard now as we hit a 5-4 with Bandits being above Panic. Now, that's definitely not what I expected. I'm pretty sure it's not what most of us expected as a team. But Panic will use their very first timeout. Now, judging from past experience, Panic, they are really good at utilizing their timeouts to take a little bit of a step back and realize what they're doing wrong. And 9 times out of 10, they have came back really strong. They funneled out all of their mistakes, and from here on out, they have the capability to just sweep through and potentially get themselves a win. But at the moment, Bandits, being the gunners that they are, they're shutting them down.
Wizard, you can't just stop in the middle of the game and just start eating a bowl of cereal. Why are you doing that? Not massively sure about it. Not sure if it will improve your playstyle, my friend, but it seems to be working regardless. So it will be very, very interesting to see how they start playing here at the moment. Obviously, Panic is in quite a bad situation, but it has started to open up a lot of sites. They needed to be able to secure that bottom site to put it into a very winnable situation for themselves. Now they are on the back foot. They are on the disadvantage. It all depends on how they look to approach, I guess, when they end up coming back to it. So we know that they can secure karaoke quite easily. They just need to do it correctly. We know they can secure exhibition quite easily. They just need to do it directly. But the final site They can't secure it fully. They seem to struggle whenever they get onto it. And at the moment, what we're seeing from Bandits is it looks like it's going to be, once again, an extension push with a slight direct push coming in from 2 team members. But we've seen this go wrong before.
Well, this is... It's what Bandits are comfortable with, you know, the sort of default sort of push, but at the same time, there is potential for you to be punished for this, because Panic, they have all of the room and the ground control to bleed your timeout, and that's exactly what Panic are really good at. They're good at forcing you to waste so much time on your initial roam clear, you know, needing to deal with all the util that they have designated for this extension, and then they'll leave you with no time left for you to push into the site. And that's what happened last time. You know, you had no time left to clear specific corners before you were crossfired upon by all of the raining fire bullets that Panic laid upon you. And it's looking like that's what they want to do again. And you're already making your way inside of Exhibition, Organiser, dealing with these default cameras, needing to deal out with these utils to help clear out these Kiba barriers, and these deployable shields are next on the list. Now, they did well in clearing it last time, but in terms of time, like I said, this is Panic's main game. This is what they want. They want you to waste this much time.
And you can already see it, 1 minute and 30 seconds remaining on the board. No massive control of this area has been really gotten so far from these teams. Now, obviously, in this position, this is what Bandits seem to struggle with. A player can actually just start roaming against them. As you can see it from below, there is going to be one, but they've already started to make their push up. They've removed this shield so they can make some sort of play. But if we quickly go back, I believe it was ACOG in that position. He might be able to find something because he is on the rotation behind them. So this is where Bandits start to get a little bit scary. Everything is set up for their push. They have every sort of player in that position, but when they have all 5 members remaining, it can be such a problem if they cannot find this player who is coming in behind. It looks like he's not going to be making it just yet. However, the rest of Bandits will start to make their push up. Nuki's able to find the kill on the MML, and that's a big pick as they'll look to open up this wall. Immediately, the plays will start getting made, and ACOG needs to start making this push immediately. Another player is also going to be downstairs doing this push as well. There's 2 players coming in behind. They need to be watching for it. There we go. ACOG's able to find one. He's going to make his move up, able to spot out, but there's Universe as well coming to back up his teammate. Daddy's down. Drift's able to find 2, and now it's make it 3 as the plant will be attempted. Wizard will be spotted out. Drift! Absolutely insane round by him. And we are in match point.
Just like that. I mean, the unexpected becomes expected. They were unable to clear him out. Drift just going absolutely nuky on the entire roster of Panic, unable to deny that plant. He is the man you want to be defending you while you're trying to get that kit down. Murphy's Law, whatever can happen will happen, and it just did.
And what we're seeing is pretty scary for both of these teams. This is essentially what's going to happen in the bracket, basically. These 2 teams are essentially going to go up against each other, and that may either be really good or really bad. It depends whether or not they make it through the first set of matches, but all depends. And right now, Bandits, they are looking scarier on the map of Skyscraper. Panic seeming to fall out of the gate. They had their players in control. They were able to get their roams behind, but Drift just shows up in massive fashion. Absolutely insane. And I'm honestly lost for words after that last round. Drift just is insane.
He opened up so much that definitely I gotta imagine the support from him is just big. The cost in that round alone, not only being able to find as many kills as he did, but he protected Lonely that entire time in terms of getting that diffuser down, and him alone is the reason you are currently at this 6-4 advantage. You're going for a little bit of a direct now, so I like the switch up in terms of what you pushed last time. Sort of try to catch Panic off guard now. JPK is outside of this Geisha main bridge to sort of add some pressure onto the two players who are holding drums. But against these Kiva barriers, it can become a little bit difficult in terms of the angles that you need to contest. Now, majority of the players have made way through that exhibition site. They're easily being able to clear that, and it has been forfeited to Panic. But this is what Panic did last time. Bandits did really good in terms of being able to bring it back in the end, but it really was just a clutch from Drift to be able to pull it up. And you can't imagine that Panic are going to let that happen twice. So they are going to play the same sort of way in terms of burning and bleeding the time for Bandits. Hopefully this time you won't allow them to clutch like that.
Well, MML looking to try and see if he can find something on the angle. Nade will go through, it will be picked up. That's going to be the shield, able to be controlled by the side of Panic. Correction, by the side of Bandits, my apologies. As now Panic, they are in a really bad position. ACOG, this is a play that we haven't seen in a while. He's going to be trying to play around the back, cut off any sort of pressure being made by Bandits, and he can just sit there and wait and drop down eventually. JPK is going to be able to find the kill onto Snow as he will make a short push in towards Geisha. But now he'll be covered, he'll be checked, and the push will need to start coming soon. 50 seconds remaining on the board as Wizard going back and forth, just trying to clear this angle. Universe also sitting ready to jump over and help his teammate. ACOG is going to drop down and drop away. JPK is able to find the kill onto Universe. Could this be it? Could this be the final round? A little bit of damage is going to go down. Yuki's able to confirm the kill onto MML. So there's still hope for Panic. Flashbangs will start to come through. Yuki's going to go close. Eraser's able to find one. It's a 2v4. Nonetheless, it's still doable. ACOG able to take down by Daddy. Drift's able to be taken down. Eraser will take down one. That is it. That is over. Thank you so much. Bandits are your winners. 7-4.
Panic. Initially, the first place tournaments will take a loss against who are currently in the second place. You could imagine that there is going to be a lot of upsets there, and it's going to switch around the scoreboard. But a 7-4, we did think that Panic was going to be the winners here. We did try to guess that it was going to be a 7-3, 7-4, but in the end, they completely switched the narrative for us, caught us all off by guard, and they'll take us to a 7-4. Bandits playing super well, taking themselves a win and potentially even claiming that first place back, I believe, from Panic.
And I mean, what a match that was so far that we have seen. So well played, so inconsequential. Like, everything that they were doing was serious. Any playstyle that they made was meaningful. And it just seemed that Panic, they had some good runs. Don't get me wrong. Wizards 1v2 at the very end inside of Exhibition. Absolutely brilliant on that end. But then you got Drift absolutely popping off, getting 4 kills and securing his team the round with a pistol up against, I believe it was Snow as the last member. However, it just looked like today Panic, they were not ready, they were not in control for their skyscraper position. Not the best that we've seen them play on it. However, for Bandits, it showed how much they've been working towards this. It showed how well they can play when they work together, and they know how to work together really well. A lot of 1v1s, however, I did see that, Elijah. It seems like it just consistently comes down to that. But we do have someone in for an interview. I believe it is going to be Jacko, and we will see him shortly. Here he is. Hello, hello, hello. Jacko, how you doing? You amazing, amazing man. And how was that game?
It was kind of easy. I don't know what to say, really. But anyways, I've got a few notes from the boys if you want to hear them.
Oh
A
lord,
few
here
notes
we
for
go.
the boys, yeah. All right, bring it out. What have you got?
So Drift wanted to say, how do you lose a 2v4, 2v5 like that? Lonely says, universe before panicking in that. Josh says, we don't scrim, easy. Michael had nothing, doesn't care. Razor, I can't say it on stream, but Razor said something. Anyways,
Yeah,
Anyways,
definitely
move on.
don't
Lovely
look at
and
that.
sensible for you. Thank you for that, Jacko. But you guys are complete gunners on that skyscraper. Bringing that top team down was eventually that first place. You guys were second. You showing up. I mean, that was crazy. You guys very well rehearsed on skyscraper by the looks of it. Did you guys prepare, or you guys just complete gunners like that?
I don't want to sound cocky or anything, but like we don't have any strats for skyscraper or anything. We just did a few like dry runs, like 1v1s and all that, and 2v2s. That's about it before the game, really.
You prepared
Yeah.
and ranked.
Technically, yes. Like, I don't know what Panic does in their spare time, but we like to just chill out as a team. But that's about it.
Now, obviously, as you know, the playoffs are coming to a close. They're basically all finished, and we are moving in to the the last play day, and now we go into the playoffs. My apologies, I got that wrong and twisted around. How do you guys think you guys are going to go so far now, going through all the teams in this competition and going up against them? How do you think you're going to go, especially when it starts getting into the best of 3 matches?
I think the boys over at Bandits will actually prove a lot because they're BO3s. Anything can happen to BO1. So with the BO3, I feel like the boys can really shine and take away two wins right there straight away, or even just do a 2-1. Like, I feel like these boys would be really, really good 3-map team. Sorry. But I think the boys are really, really keen to have a go and prove themselves really, because we lost a few games this season, like rough games. But I'm sure we'll bounce back on the finals and prove ourselves, take the first place.
Any preparation for those ones?
If Chef checks his DMs, then yeah, we might get a scrim. But if he doesn't, then no, we'll just be ranked in CS:GO really.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, Elijah,
Thank you very
anything else you
much,
want to add?
That'll be it for me. Thank you very much, Jacko, for joining us yet again. I hope you have a resty of a lovely evening.
Thank you.
Catch you later, Jacko. Well, guys, that is the second game for this evening. We do have one more game coming up to show you guys. It is going to be a very interesting and fun one. It is Altered Edge up against Naughty Sausages, and I think a few of the predictions are going to be sent out of the water on this one. A few people going against Altered Edge, regardless, or going for Altered Edge, I should say. Regardless, in this situation, we are done for that match, and we will be going to a short break. Elijah, you have been a legend. Thank you for joining me on this cast. If I don't
Always
see you
good fun.
again, but if I do, let's get back into it, and we'll see you guys very, very soon.